Next time you meet me in Gate City, check out Soul Sisters.
Wait. Oh, Cody Pope. I know Cody Pope.
Our friend is Cody and we not having a good day.
Musician.
Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for coming back to another week of Cody Central. This year's already been pretty crazy, so thank you to everybody that's been tuning in, and thank you to everybody that's joined the show. We've got a bunch of people in the chat already, so shout out to Scott. I see you, Scott. Shout out to Jen. Appreciate you, Jen. Shout out my brother Ryan. Ryan's always here. Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Megan. Thank you for tuning in. Scott's letting everybody know to be careful outside tonight. It's still a little icy out there, so thank you guys for that. I hope everybody's off to a great week. I hope everybody's staying safe from the snow and all of that shit. And we got a fun one tonight, so let's just jump right into it. Excuse me. Wow. So instead of doing music and movie of the week this week, I've combined them into one, and I'll explain why. So movie of the week is Lost 1997, directed by David Lynch. As you can see, we're all mourning David Lynch. And so the reason I combined it is because I also chose the soundtrack, because while you watch it, you realize that it has like the perfect time capsule fucking soundtrack for a movie like that. So obviously, like I said, it goes without saying that tons of people everywhere are mourning the loss of visionary film director David Lynch. With his passing very recently, and today actually being his birthday as well, I've started rewatching all the movies in my Lynch collection, and this was the first one we started with just last night. This has so many of the things that I love in a movie. It has a Henry Rollins cameo, so even if it was a shitty movie, I'd watch it anyways. It has a great soundtrack, amazing cast. It's just so good. This one will definitely like fuck with your head right away, and I think that's really what is so fun about it for me, honestly. And also, if you've ever seen me perform Dial Tone live years ago, you'll probably recognize the sample from that now. Shout out to the chat going nuts here. Scott said, "See you on Saturday evening." Oh, nice. That's right. So we'll get into that in a bit. Shout out to Keith, who's in here. Shout out to Keith. What's up, man? Thank you guys all for tuning in. So movie and music of the week, Lost Highway. If you're not familiar with David Lynch, I implore you to go take a dive into something, whether it's Eraserhead, The Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, Twin Peaks. There's so many things The Straight Story. There's so many things to choose from. So definitely dig into that. Rest in peace, David Lynch. I'm still reading Subliminal, so I'll let you guys know when I finish that and move on to another book. But my book of the week is still Subliminal. Actually got it right here. Brought it with me again. So this has been going really dope. I've been really enjoying this one. Lets you know how the things that you take in start to fuck with your head a lot. And with that said, let's get into some event listings. So tomorrow, January 21st, New Hampshire Underground is hosting their grand reopening party. That's going to be at 134 Haynes Street in Nashua, New Hampshire. They're going to be doing tours of their entertainment facility. They're going to have live music. There's going to be a bunch of stuff happening there. It's free, all ages, open to all creatives. So that is the New Hampshire Underground Grand Reopening Party tomorrow night. Look up New Hampshire Underground on Facebook for more info. On Wednesday, January 22nd, Monk's Temple Records is hosting a hip-hop record label showcase down at the McCarthy Center Forum in Framingham, Massachusetts. This Thursday, January 23rd, and every Thursday, you can catch The Laugh Attic at Strange Brew Tavern in Manchester, New Hampshire. Friday, January 24th, you can catch Volley and Street Trash playing at Kodo in Lowell, Massachusetts. So if you're into like punk and thrash, that's going to be a really dope show. Volley is going to have their new album out on CD and cassette that night. This Saturday, the 25th, if you were tuned into our episode with the guys from Hybrid Theory, this is the weekend of the Hybrid Theory Epigram Beer Collab release party. That's going down at Epigram Brewery in Tingsboro, Massachusetts. So there's going to be music, and everyone's going to be able to try the Hybrid Theory beer for the first time. So shout out to Hybrid Theory Radio every Tuesday on Wave Radio Boston from 9 to 11. Much love to those guys. And on Saturday, January 25th, you can also catch one of our guests tonight, Danny P, performing a comedy set at the Post Office Pub in Grafton, Massachusetts at 7 p.m. Wednesday, January 29th, Danny P and Andrew Mcguinness, both our guests from the show tonight, are going to be at the Sawtooth Kitchen in Hanover, New Hampshire. That's at 8 p.m. Thursday, January 30th, Wave Generators, a New York City punk-inspired hip-hop group, Nah Really, a New Jersey hip-hop artist, and your boy Cody Pope and Byron G. We're going to be performing at Zoe's Place in Nashua, New Hampshire. That's going to be 8 o'clock on January 30th. Come on down to Zoe's Place. Best roast beef in Nashua, some of the best food in the city. Going to be a really fun show. Support the touring acts. Saturday, February 1st is the Queen City Black Market. That's at the Henry J. Sweeney Post in Manchester. It's a goth, hardcore, alternative vendor market. So there's going to be like clothing brands and food and jewelry and all this kind of stuff. Shout out my man Keith. He said he'll see us at Zoe's. Hopefully we'll see all of you guys at Zoe's. That's January 30th. Saturday, January 1st, Burn Kit, Snake Lips, and Honey Wave are all going to be playing at Auspicious Brew in Dover, New Hampshire. Burn Kit is a really cool, like post-punk new wave kind of band. Shout out to Tina. That's going to be a really dope show. Monday, February 2nd, Master Killa of Wu-Tang Clan is going to be performing at Wally's at Hampton Beach. You got to support Wu-Tang when they come to New Hampshire. Monday, February 3rd, Municipal Waste is playing at Gino's in Portland, Maine. That's going to be insane. And last thing I have on here is Saturday, February 15th. The Get Up Kids are doing their 25-year anniversary of Something to Write Home About at Aura in Portland, Maine. So a lot of awesome stuff coming up. Comedy, hip-hop, hardcore, metal, art, all sorts of stuff. So if you have an event coming up at any point that you want me to plug on the show, if it's, I got a few more. Sorry, guys. Wednesday, February 19th, Boston hardcore group Haywire is going to be at River Grange in Concord, New Hampshire. Friday, February 21st, legendary hip-hop artist Ill Bill is going to be performing at Jewel in Manchester, New Hampshire. Saturday, February 22nd, Merrimack Valley Hardcore's own In Remembrance is going to be performing at the Shaskeen in Manchester, New Hampshire. Wednesday, February 26th, Andrew Mcguinness, one of our guests tonight, is going to be a feature act at Bards on the Rocks in Manchester, New Hampshire. And lastly, I threw here, this is in April, it's April 11th, but Sabretooth Zombies is going to be playing in Worcester Yo, can you guys hear me okay? Check, check, check. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what happened. My computer freaking crashed out on me, so. Hey, chat, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Check, check. All right, awesome. I don't know why I'm not hearing anything, but let's make some shit happen here. Chat, hope everybody is still here. Let's get this thing rocking. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yo, honestly, Andrew, can you hear me? I'm blaming you. Every time you're on the show, I get jinxed with technical difficulties somehow. I don't know what it is. We're almost there, though, guys. I just am turning on the speakers on the backup computer, and we will be good to go. Thank you guys for holding out with me. Always fun when this happens. Well, anyways, while I'm waiting for this, I'll finish reading off the show listings. Oh, so I actually was done reading off the show listings anyways. So perfect timing. Boom, boom. Okay. All right, we should be rock and roll. Sorry about that, guys. So I've been really excited to bring these guys in. Apologies for the technical difficulties. So I'm going to bring first into the show a returning guest for those of you guys that have been watching now for the last couple of months. He's a local comedian. He's an educator. He's been a big part of the New Hampshire and New England comedy scene. Welcome to the show. Drop a bunch of applause in the comments, my friend Andrew Mcguinness. Hey, your mic's off, Andrew.
Man, oh man, I did an old guy thing, fucking immediately. Awesome. An educator is such a strong word for what I do in particular, but I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Hell yeah. So everybody drop some applause in the chat for us. And joining us for the first time tonight is a good friend of mine, another New Hampshire comedian. He's also at the forefront of the Laugh Attic, which is every Thursday in Manchester, New Hampshire at Strange Brew. Please, everybody, welcome my friend for the first time, Danny P.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, look,
What's going on, man?
So
Thank
handsome.
you guys for rocking with
So
me.
cool to be here, dude.
Dude, sorry that my computer fucking blew up right there.
That's because I put so much.
Thank you for blaming me, by the way.
I think it's my
Sure,
fault. I put so
man.
much information in my Chiron. Look at this shit. I have to put my head above it just to keep my mouth out of it. This is good. So many credit. I should put like more credits and maybe just fucking line it up down the left side of my screen. I think that would be good.
I fucking learned from when Andrew was here last time, so I set up a second computer and had it waiting. And of course, the one night I needed it.
That's smart.
crazy.
Thank you very much for putting the blame on me for that. I appreciate it.
I know, dude. It's the least I could do.
He is
It's our
bad
special
juju.
thing.
I do. It's terrible karma coming for me.
Oh my gosh. Dude, thank you guys so much for making time to hang out and chop it up with me tonight. I know you guys have both been super busy between comedy and family life and whatever other shit you have going on. So I really want to talk about high school dropout and I really want to talk about Laugh Attic stuff. But
Yeah.
I feel like because Andrew already came in and got to introduce himself a bit, it would be worth it to have you kind of introduce yourself a bit, Danny.
Yeah.
So we had met obviously years ago through like hardcore and metal pilgrimages, but it seems like only as of the last few years that you've been really carving out this space, writing and performing comedy. So like,
Yeah.
what year did that take root, and how has that transition been for you?
Right. So like, yeah, we go back. I mean, you and I go back almost 20 years if you think about it, which is crazy, absolutely insane.
Yeah,
you
for
were
real.
you were a child, right?
Literally.
Like, you know, the people that we all hung out with, it was like, yeah, you're taking them across state lines because that could be an issue. all these minors, you know.
I know. I could have got P. Diddy.
If a cop pulled anybody over, it's like, oh, well, I was covering for this guy. He's too drunk to drive. Yeah, he's 15. No, but so anyways, yeah, we go back that far, and I stopped, with family and job and everything. I stopped doing the music thing a while ago, and then realized I wanted to keep doing something in like that performance world, and didn't know what it was, right? So 2020, right before COVID hits, I do a best man speech for my brother, and that's like prime target. Could you write a fucking roast thing for somebody more suited than your own older brother, right? So I went hard on that, and it did well, and I loved that, and I loved the feeling that it made, to tell him, hey, congratulations, you got married so fucking old, like all the things, right? And so it's from there, I was like, all right, COVID hits, and then you're sitting in your room and you're just like stuck inside and you're trying to figure shit out. And I'm watching all this shit on YouTube and this and that, and it's like, oh, I wonder, like, I could try that stuff that I really liked since I was a kid, that I used to watch with my dad, whatever. And turns into, hey, there's actually an open mic right in Manchester where I live. So I show up to the Laugh Attic, I walk in, I sign up, eat shit, and do it all again the week after. So on and so forth, rinse and repeat.
That's about right.
3.5 years later, the request that I host it came down, and I took that, and haven't looked back. It's been great. It's been fun.
Damn. So this has been like 4 or 5 years in the making now, almost.
Yeah, coming up on 4. It'll be 4 in June.
I can't believe it's only been that long. It feels like you've been around for fucking ever. That's crazy.
It's the elderly thing. It's the fact that if I look older than them, they're just gonna guess that I've been around for a minute. So it works in my favor. One of the few times it works in my favor.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just getting shit on and called old by special ed kids all
By
so
day
many long.
Young virile kids. I swear, Cody,
Yes.
all these new comics, they come in, they're on HGH, they're like fucking 6'4", 210. It's like, what the fuck am I doing?
So many hunks going up on stage.
Stupid.
It's wildly unnecessary.
This right is rampant.
Yeah.
A bunch of Johnny Bravo motherfuckers doing comedy now.
I don't get it. I don't know. I think you have to experience hardship. That's my personal opinion. You haven't done that, I'm not sure how funny you could be.
Yeah.
You wouldn't call it hardship to lose your fantasy football league? That's not hardship, Danny. That's not hard enough for you.
It seems to happen week after week, doesn't it?
That is the best season for open mic comedy, is when motherfuckers are losing fantasy football playoffs.
Oh, it's so fun.
Get gigantic crowds.
That's our advertisement for Laugh At It. Come see the spectacle, because if any rando shows up and they bring all their friends, not only do they get a chance just to eat shit in front of all their friends, but then we get to have a turn at all of them afterwards.
A lovely audience. They get to be way down on the list and get shit faced before their first time on stage. That's always a good time.
Yeah, it's a nice little racket.
That's a perfect segue for this question I have. So, a friend of ours sent this question in earlier and asked me to ask it, and they said, "How was it drinking all the syrup at the Amherst Street Bickfords?"
You got a name on that submission?
I think I might.
There's a couple people that bore witness to that. So Andrew, I'll catch you up. After post shows in Nashua, Drifters or what have you, whatever it happened to be, Bickford's was the place to go, and all of us would take up like the entire back room or whatever. And
we had a Denny's in Lawrence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we did in Portland, Maine. It was Denny's. Yeah, it depended on which city you were in, but there's always the hit. And so we would get in there, and 18. If I had been moshing all night, I would have worked up a healthy appetite. And so the only thing that could satisfy my craving was an 18-wheeler. That's the one with the pancakes, with the sausage, with the bacon, with the eggs, all the things, right? And they had the syrup, and it was like, all right, keep the syrup coming. Like, keep bringing, more of these. And they come in these little shot glasses. And sure enough, I would finish everything, and then I would do the shots of maple syrup at the end. And that was my parlor trick.
I was wondering, I've been wanting to ask where your foot went, but I'm very happy to have the answer now. That's what
we call dinner and a show.
You're a vile human being.
My liver and my pancreas recovered. So
thank goodness. Thank God you're here with us today.
Yeah.
Picture of health now.
Yeah, you can tell, right? It's like this part of my head fucking stays the same size. It's this part that I'm worried about. It's gonna keep growing.
Oh my gosh.
fuck.
Yeah.
Well, you can thank lovely Jane for that one.
Yeah, that was Jane. I knew it. Yeah, go figure. Go figure.
All right. So hopefully for everybody that's listening, hopefully we've covered enough ground, and hopefully you guys saw Andrew's episodes. Now we can just start talking shit. Because
Yeah.
I really
do
so
our best work.
when Andrew was on the show the first time, we were talking about which at the time was upcoming, the high school dropout program
Yep.
that you guys put on at
Yeah,
the
man.
Laugh Attic.
Yep.
So can you kind of explain the format and how that all
Yeah.
came to be?
Sure. So, I mean, just to dial it back one step too, if you think about Laugh Attic happens every week as an open mic on a Thursday. That's like SmackDown, right? That's like Monday Night Raw. You have your weekly installment of the usual insanity, and then we just put on our first premium live event. That's what WWE calls it now. There's no such thing as a pay-per-view, right? So they call it a premium live event. We put on our first premium live event, and it was called the High School Dropout. It was the innovation of Mike DuPont, who is a recommendation to have on this podcast at some point, because he's a head from way back when it comes to hip hop and rap, and that's our boy. He helped co-create the show, and he and I were talking about just using the Laugh Attic as like the venue to do it. And so the idea is it's high school book reports. It's the thing that you might have dreaded as a student, but you get to hear a comedian do a take on one of those books that you might have read in high school or whatever. And they can take it wherever they want. They can start talking about the book and drift off into how hot their teacher was. Like it could be they could take that in any direction they want. So we did that with like maybe I think it was 10 comics for that first show at the beginning of the year, and packed the upstairs at Strange Brew Tavern. That's where all of our stuff takes place, right? Strange Brew Tavern in Manchester, upstairs. And so we packed it out. It was a great show, to the point where we're ready to do the next one, right? So the next one is going to come up. We're doing that on March 7th, and flyer and lineup is coming out soon. But again, similarly, we found a whole new batch of comedians. They're all going to pick new texts. So if you went to the last show, you'll have every reason to come back. If you didn't go to the last show, even more reason to show up and come see what's going on before it continues to pop off. If it keeps doing as well as it does, I don't even know if we'll be able to hold it there in the same venue. We might have to find something bigger, but it's going really well. So
that was such a fun show.
Awesome.
It was a blast.
It was such a fun show. And
I'm glad you said that. There's going to be more of those. Because I wanted to ask, do you think after doing that you guys are going to do more themed events like that, or more like premium events in general?
Yeah, premium events in general, cool. Yes. I've already got after the next dropout, I have another traditional 4 comic lineup thing slated for the end of March. So I'll announce that soon. Really big headliner, big name that I'm excited about. So I'll tell you, I'll be able to release that probably in February. You'll see that come out. And so we want people to focus on the dropout thing the beginning of March 1st. And then a couple weeks after that, we'll be hot on its heels with a traditional stand-up show. And it's a great place to see stand-up. It's the attic is like this nice, cozy, intimate kind of spot. You're sitting right up with the action. There's a bar literally behind you. You have access to drinks and food right there, right where your seats are. It's great.
It's the best room in the world. I love doing comedy in there. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah. And if you guys are new, check out the links down there. All of these you can follow them on Instagram, and you can follow Laugh Attic as well. That way you can always see when the shows are happening. Follow all 3 of them. That's the best way to keep up with everything. All right, I'm kind of moving around my questions here because I'm going with the flow. So one thing that I think, and I don't know, I love comedy, and I consider myself somebody that watches a lot of comedy and is fairly deep in that lore in some sector. And so one thing that's really cool that I've discovered through the years is how comedy is almost like metal, how there's all these little subgenres and different ways to kind of get to the goal.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to really just call somebody a comedian, because it's like being I play guitar. Okay, the fuck kind of music do you play?
Mm-hmm.
And So that's like so interesting to me when you like book some of these shows where it's like you might have 4 or 5 people that have like a totally different approach to making the crowd laugh, and everybody's kind of taking a risk. And so I'm sure a lot of times it's awesome, but I wanted to know what it's like the most like cringeworthy thing that you've seen somebody kind of attempt to do for laughs. That just like,
Oh my God! Well, what a question!
You want to take this?
Dude, oh man, I don't even know where to start.
Right, dude.
Like, I don't know. I do a lot of cringy bullshit on stage, but like, I don't know. Bring in a third party, like whether it's a guitar, a fucking pop, bring in a thing on stage really makes me mad. Like, really bothers me. Oh fuck, dude. It's like, I don't know, Danny. You have to host this goddamn nightmare.
Yeah,
So like, see, there are like, forget about doing anything cringy. There's some people. It's like you shouldn't have walked in the room.
Yeah. So we'll start super mild and we'll end super spicy. The first one that comes to mind that I can think of. Actually, first of all, backtrack real quick. You said different styles of comedy. It's like metal music or guitar. Yeah, you can have some people that just do it on fucking Instagram and don't do it in real life. Yeah, it is the same thing as fucking a guitar player. You can have both. You can have both living that fake life behind Instagram. But the other thing I was thinking of was so how about an elderly man who brings out a photo of buckwheat as a child of him, as a picture of himself when he was a child. Like prop comedy that's borderline racist. Like, what do you think about that? Like, that's pretty good. But I think one thing
just borderline. A good place to start. Just borderline.
He toes the line. But I think even worse than that might be the guy that went up on stage within the past couple months and talked about how he took pictures of his dick on his DS when he was 12, and then he proceeded to pull a DS out of his pocket and show the pictures from the stage.
How was I not around? I'm never there for stuff like this. I'm never there for awesome things.
To see something that gold, you have to stay hella late.
I gotta be there for that last minute. Yeah, I gotta stay for that last minute. Yeah. Jesus Christ,
that tops the list for me.
Yeah. Holy shit. Dude, I don't know.
Any consolation, it might have been a bit. It might not have been real. It's impossible to know. But either way, I'm riding for it like it was real.
It was 100% real. There's no way that DS did not have child porn on it. That's fucking crazy. Dude, I don't know if he wasn't so committed to it. I think I could bring up Crispy. I feel like Crispy, like the Manchester legend. I don't even know. I was shocked that he was even allowed in the building anymore. But like the amount of just like Superman pratfalls I've seen this man break his ribs on like stone floors is fucking wild. So the commitment to shit like that is the insanity that's never gotten a laugh is fucking wild. Guys like that confuse the shit out of me.
That leads me to, so I didn't have this written down, but it just kind of like sparked a thought. What is the use of cameras like in there? You know, I guess I don't know if that makes sense, but I think about like when a mainstream comedian that we know is hitting smaller clubs, they're working out material that they typically don't want filmed because it's maybe for a special or a tour or something like that. And so I know that there's like different kind of in different places and different times, there's like a different kind of like tolerance about people filming shit. And I'm sure in Manchester, you must just get a lot of like random fucking strangers coming through and watching shit. So what is it? I know you guys post clips from there, obviously, but do you guys have any sort of camera like etiquette, or do you just kind of have to fucking play ball and figure it out as you go?
It's so there's a couple different, so it's evolved. I will say it's evolving in the sense that we have a guy now that comes through that does videography stuff, and he'll snap some of the footage, and then he'll just like quietly on the side he'll DM somebody and say, hey, I recorded your set, do you want it? And then that actually gives them a chance to do those clips like you're talking about, and then they can choose to use whichever component, like portion of that they want. In the past, and this still could happen, if you saw like a comic that you know, but you know that he doesn't know the guy, but he's recording the guy, other than the instances that I've talked about, that could be frowned upon. Like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I've seen somebody set up for their own set and have the person on stage get offended like they're trying to record them, but they're really just setting up for their own shit. So it really depends on who it is and how mentally ill they are that their response could be above off the threshold, or they could just realize, hey, they're kind of like doing their own thing. It's not as big of an issue as you might think in terms of like other people doing it, and I don't think any of us are at the point where we need to be really concerned about material being stolen. If we see it, we're going to call it out, but it's not anything more than that. It's not money out of anybody's pocket. It would just be hey, what the fuck are you doing?
There's definitely not a chance that any of us are at a point where it's going to be a bit that isn't ready to like for anyone in the public yet, or that it's going to get stolen. I think like my only thing was like, if it were like the only thing I could think of, like the worst case scenarios, I say some shit on stage that I think my bosses would be would not love at all. So like for something like that to get filmed and then like thrown out, which I don't think would happen even. Could suck, but
and Andrew and I
it's not really
with big boy jobs. Andrew and I constantly have to like think about that stuff, but it's also under the pretense of like, hey, it's past 9 p.m. or later. You're in a darkened bar where people are just meant to consume alcohol to oblivion. Like, really, where is the problem, right? Like the idea that this is a place where I can let out these demons and it shouldn't have any impact on anything else. And if it were recorded, hey, was it funny? Well, if it was, great. If it wasn't, maybe delete that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You should be able to like take risks and experiment with shit and not like be worried about it. But then it's like I get it from like my side of things as like a non-comedian. If I went and saw fucking Donnell Rawlings in some small, that's a weird example, but if you saw somebody like big in a small room, your instinct would be like, oh, I want to fucking like get a moment of this. But it's like, oh, I also don't want to be super fucking gross and rude either. So I guess it's cool that you guys have kind of just like had to ebb and flow through that as people give a shit.
There's a little bit of like a punk rock ethos in the attic when it comes to just like self-management. There's this idea that we kind of manage our own, we hold our own. If anything goes a little left or a little south, we kind of help it get back on course. And usually that's really even keeled and doesn't require a whole lot compared to what we used to put up with, Cody. I think it's pretty
there's a lot of
Swiss Army knife on me that's 2 inches long, threatening to stab me or whatever dumb shit we saw.
Yeah.
There's a lot more accountability in there.
And a VFW at you.
Yeah, there's no chair throwing. I'm grateful there's no chair throwing anymore. That feels, what am I, Geraldo Rivera? Please.
Oh my gosh. So I guess this maybe is a little out of the scope of like what you guys are doing right now, but as a comedy fan, I'm interested in your feedback too. I wanted to know what you guys thought about the way specials have evolved. I remember as a kid, some comedians, it would be 10 or 15 years before they ever did a special. And that was if they were lucky enough to do like a HBO or a Showtime thing or one of those like Comedy Central 30 minutes. And now people have to leverage specials in a different way where it's almost like it's like you make your own as like a calling card to do other shit. And so there's a lot of pros and cons, I imagine, that come with that. So what are your guys' thoughts on the way people like make specials now?
It feels like the word special kind of loses a little bit of its meaning after a bit. There's so many of them. I kind of wrestle with this thought too a bit at times where it's like, have I just been like taking in and performing so much bad comedy that I'm just like burnt out on seeing any of it? But it's like there feels like a quality like lowering in some of it.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know if that's just me.
Right? No, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Because like that same DIY ethos that says put it up on YouTube, you can do it yourself, and you can kind of spend what you want to spend on it. Do you have $20,000 lying around? The fucking thing's gonna look good. Do you have 5,000 lying around? Probably not bad. For most of us, it's like we don't even have the quality of equipment to even bother with that, right?
Yeah.
But at a certain point of leveling up, right, and the amount of money you sort of pull in, you get to the point where you have the means to do it. And then it's like to Andrew's point, does that mean you should do it at that point? We question that maybe in some instances because it does dilute. There's also something to the idea of the niche stuff that you were saying, right? Because of that democratization, everybody does their thing. You have these chunks of people that are like, all right, we're this kind of comedy, we're that kind of comedy, and they're kind of attracting their own audiences and not necessarily crossing over with other artists that are putting up their own material, right? It might be like all these people love this guy because he's more like them. So there's a lot more of like individual audiences that happen, and it's a lot of that like feeding your social media following too, right? Like you can put out a special, and if some of the clips hit with this certain audience, they'll start following you. And it doesn't like, it's all about finding your audience, right? So like you might be able to do that, especially even if like you're around people who are like, hey, your stuff isn't like our stuff, thus therefore we don't like it and we don't think you're ready. But then you put it up and a bunch of people fucking identify with it from far away or whatever the hell it is. You never know what that's going to look like. So I get why people do it. And I think with Andrew and myself, it's probably like, we're probably more like that 10, 15 year mentality of doing anything of the sort, because it would make more sense to us to really hone the shit first.
Yeah, and I don't know. I love the fact that we are in a time where you can build like such a specific audience to yourself. That is really cool. If I had any wherewithal or like brains in my head, I would figure out a way to do that, and I just don't. But I also agree with you on that, Dan. Where it's like I don't like any of my stuff enough from a year ago to want to put it on recording to like have for like to have for people to be able to like stumble upon and watch and me be embarrassed later on. I don't want that at all.
There's more self-loathing. There's the equal amount of narcissism in a comedy as there is in music, but there's more self-loathing in comedy, I think, than there is in music, which leads to a lot of that like self-sabotage, delete my shit, do new stuff.
Yeah.
And usually that's for the best, right? Usually you're still working towards something better. But there's probably something in there that Andrews thinks is crap that if he brought out at the right time with the right audience, that would fucking destroy. I can think of a couple of them off the top of my head that he might want to bail on, but I think he should bring back. So it all depends, and sometimes we'll just like find those moments and do it. But I just write everything the fuck down so you don't forget it. You can always come back to it, and it's cool to like write something, think it sucks for a while, do a bunch of other shit, come back to that thing and redo it, and then the shit has legs again because you like figured it out and you're like better at it now because you've been doing it longer.
Yeah.
Like I like that idea of revisiting that. I don't know if that happens with like raps or material or anything. Like you like kind of bail on a thing and then you come back to it like, oh shit, I know how to do this now.
Oh yeah. Well, and it got me thinking too, like, going to like the music thing. If I wanted to open for a bigger artist, if somebody from Wu-Tang Clan was coming to town and I wanted to open for them, I could send my album to the promoter, or I could send my like booking reel or like music videos or whatever, and they would have a bunch of shit to take in and qualify if I could get that opportunity or not. If you don't have like, if you're in that space where you don't have a special and you don't have like a bunch of clips, how do you go about getting those like bigger gigs? Or is it kind of just always like showing up in the circuit in your area thing?
Yeah, showing up is a big part of it. I think a lot of people that are successful at it are networking heavily, and that's no fault. That's no no fault of their own. No harm towards them, but like they have to bring it though, right? Like if you show up at all the stuff and you're super social, and then you get this opportunity, you sure as shit better take that chance and actually deliver.
Do something.
Yeah. They'll never ask you again.
Otherwise, that all of that goes away. All of that networking can be worth nothing if you just are awful.
So yeah, the networking so networking plays a big role in it, and I think it's maybe even more heavy of a role than it is in the music thing. I think it's the music thing. I would like to think in both instances it's like a purity of what's happening. Like that music speaks for itself. Those bits speak for themselves. They see you on stage at a mic or whatever, and you're mingling and whatever, and everything's kind of hitting. But sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's just like, oh, well, it's going to be easy. That guy said he'd do anything, so I'll just throw a bunch of dates at him, and he'll say yes to a bunch of them. Yeah. And then I'll just have him 16 times or whatever. Like, sometimes that's just how it goes. And I think when we look at that, sometimes it's easy to, like, get down or think, oh, why not me? But the silver lining is those shows probably suck. Like, if they weren't accounting for taste. A lot of them do. If they weren't accounting for taste and they were just trying to, like, get people on as fast as possible or whatever their intentions were, it just diminishes the quality of the show. I love getting an ask where somebody's like, hey, I want you on this because XYZ. You'll fit.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. I was trying to get these kinds of perspectives. It's kind of like that mixed bill mentality that you alluded to earlier. Like that happens in shows and stuff. And when it happens in comedy, usually it works out great because you attract a wider audience. You get people that happen to like other stuff, even though it's not my people's material or whatever, but you get an opportunity to kind of like put that on display and maybe win some new people over that you wouldn't have otherwise had.
Very well put.
Cool. Yeah, it seems a lot more like organic, for lack of a better word. Where
it can be for sure.
It can be.
You can't really like fit. It's like music. It's pretty easy to like fake the funk in terms of like putting together a bunch of cool looking clips and performances and you can make yourself look like somebody, but it's hard to like fake. You can't fake people laughing and like make real out of it, So it's like
people try, but it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah. There have been a lot of not in our scene, but at large on the internet, there have been lots of accusations of, hey, green screen and audience piped in and whatever.
Yeah.
They're starting to try to pull apart which ones are real or not. And it's like, all right, if this is real, what venue is this, right? Like put some legitimacy behind it or whatever. So you try to like break through that like fake layer.
That's so rough. Sorry, go Cody.
No.
It's just like, I don't know, that stuff like it's so the like faking the laughs on a thing or putting up a clip where it's like, dude, I know you've like I'll watch my clips where there are laughs, and after 4 times I'm like, all of these people were lying. No one laughed at this in reality, but people will post up a reel and it's like nobody is making a noise, and I don't understand what you get from it, and it sucks. I don't know.
If you do something like that, I hope the comment says something ironic or whatever, like you're laughing at yourself.
Absolutely.
Like do something like that at least with it. But if you're putting it up saying like check me out and there's actually nothing to speak for it, what's the point?
Yeah. Dan, if I ever do something like that, I want you to like promptly drag me into a bathroom, Boston beatdown style, all right?
Yes, dude.
Get your padlock out and fucking make me hurt.
We do need some new footage for those, so
you guys have to start doing comedy beatdown.
Oh, I love it. Let's do it.
It's actually some people are more deserving than you might realize, Cody.
Yeah.
I believe it, dude. Instead of roast battle, you just fucking roast people
beat the
outside
shit out of them.
in the parking lot.
Yeah. Comedy fist fight. I like it. I like this. A circle of cars in the parking lot.
There are
fucking Rocky V style.
There are very few that can fight. I can name them on one hand. Most of them are ex-hardcore kids.
I know, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of real nebbish fellas doing comedy.
I love that word. That's a great word.
You say nebbish?
Yeah, I gotta do something with my education, Cody. All right, I gotta do something with this shit.
Oh my God.
You called me an educator earlier. I have to prove it.
Yes, we'll live up to it.
True.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna say, do you guys have like 3 or 5 like favorite active comedians right now? I know it's easy to pick like all-time greats, but I was first interested if there's like people that are kind of like out doing shit right now that you guys are really like fucking. Oh, that person's so impressive.
How wide do you want the circle?
Yeah.
As wide as you want to go, man. Like I'm sure you guys probably know a lot more than I do, but there's so many people to pick from now too. That,
we're about to make a lot of people upset.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would if I were to broaden my circle as wide, like beyond New England, like going to New York a little bit. Like I want to include New York in it for mine. Really, I somebody that I can't give enough credit to is Jess Levin. She does come up to Boston and New Hampshire quite a bit, but she's a New York comic, completely unfiltered. Does not give a fuck, as raw as they come, and that's the reason why I have so much respect for her. She literally doesn't give a fuck. She'll do and say whatever.
Unbelievably fucking funny too. Unreal.
Yeah. So
that's so aggressive. It's so funny.
a lot of people might not be the first person they think of, but that's one of the first people I think of because I think that she like carries the moniker of like, a lot of those old school New York guys, but does it in her own modern way. So
Yeah.
so she's dope for sure. Andrew, who comes to mind for you?
My first one, you like you put your net a little bit
Yeah.
shallower, and I really like that.
Oh, okay.
My first
All
one,
right.
like off the top of my head, like a little bit bigger, but a local guy. And I think informs a lot of what I do or not do on stage. Rather, is Gary Gulman, like just a like
Okay.
wildly funny person, but like very very thoughtful.
Oh yeah.
Like does so much shit to help comics, like whether it's in writing or on stage or just how to not fucking kill yourself. That the guy is he's a wildly helpful tool for everybody like that's just starting comedy or people that are like years and years into it. He's like a great mentor, whether or not he knows he's doing it. Is a excellent comic
Yep.
and funny as shit.
Yeah. Gary just performed in Nashua within the past couple months. I just saw him in
Yeah.
Nashua.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
He did
dope.
he did the Performing Arts Center.
Yeah, I saw him in Beverly a few months back, and he was incredible.
Yep.
I saw Robert Kelly at the National Performing Arts Center. It was
Dude.
fucking
Yes.
hilarious.
So good.
Bobby's
So good.
great. Bobby's great. Saw him at Laugh Boston a year or two back. But still doing it, been doing it forever, right? Been these 30-year guys are most impressive. I'm just trying to scroll through, seeing who I can give shout outs to. Because like
I feel like we'll both probably have him on our list, but Josh Day.
Yeah, that was next up for me.
I can't be in a room with that guy without dying laughing and absolutely hating that I ever even attempted to try comedy when he exists. They just unbelievably funny. He always has like so much stuff to say about what just happened, and you thought you weren't gonna laugh harder, and then you're like, oh, he hasn't even told a joke yet, and then he does however long of jokes, and he's unbelievable. He's so funny. It looks so easy.
Yeah, he'll come to Laugh Attic and humble us and make us remember, what we have to work for to like kind of get a room to be as turned over as he does, because he makes them go crazy. If you ever see him there, you'll notice that he might run a little longer. Look, we've already got shouts in the comments from people that already identify with Josh. And Josh is a crazy hip hop head too. He might be a nice future guest for you too, there, Cody.
Super interesting guy.
Super interesting guy.
I'm taking notes of all the people you guys have mentioned tonight.
Yeah. So he's great. If you ever see him at Laugh Attic, you'll notice he might get a little bit longer than everybody else. That's intentional. If whoever's watching this right now, if you're mad that Josh gets longer than you, fuck off. Like the fact that he's as good as he is, you guys should. It's actually a pleasure and a treat and a privilege to have him there. So so that's how that works. Another guy who's going to be on our next high school dropout show on March 7th is Matt Berry. Matt Berry has been doing comedy. He's another New Hampshire boy like Josh. Both of them have been doing comedy for a very long time. Matt gets it. Matt's an old stoner metalhead from way back, right? Like he's got the same vibes as all of us, right? Sometimes it's about vibes. These are the people that we identify with because there's so many things that we recognize in them, and B, they're so good at this thing that we're trying to do too, right? So like a guy like Matt, I give a lot of props to because he's been doing it for a long time. He's been consistently funny for a very long time.
He's so good. He's one of the first guys I saw up at Murphy's in Manchester too, where I was like, oh shit, like people are very, very, very funny locally. It's really funny that you mentioned him. So the next guy I was going to mention is Paul Landwehr, who I associate the two of them together because they would both always wear hockey shirts at open mics because they were both a little bit chubbier. They were both a little fatter back in the day. So they were like they both had a hockey shirt era, but they were also like the two funny people like in the room always. And like Paul's just like a supremely nice guy. He's not doing it as much anymore, which is very sad. Like a wicked funny joke writer, and then just like the nicest guy in the world afterwards. Like very helpful. Like would always watch stuff and like have something to say to you that was productive, which is nice to have around. Like especially when you're starting. Especially when you're starting and you're already older too. Like it sucks asking for advice from people or like people won't offer it to you if they see you, but he's always been like a real good guy to have around.
He's dope. I
Danny
remember hearing about him years back.
He's excellent. He's a funny guy. He went from being chubby in a hockey shirt to fucking powerlifting and like doing acrobatics on rings. It was a very weird transition.
Yeah.
But
he's like a fucking motorcycle rider and shit too.
He wears a lot of hats. Thankfully, no hockey shirts anymore. Danny doing research over here.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying to find somebody else that I want to give that platform to, right?
Yeah.
I'm still looking though.
Well, it's funny. So while you're looking for somebody, it kind of leads me to ask. I kind of get the impression that because you guys are like deeply involved in the like community of what you're doing, that it's almost more exciting to see like your peers and people that are on the come up, as opposed to maybe not following some of these more like national acts or whatever. Is that kind of like a fair assumption?
I think more so, yeah, because we'll have our guilty pleasures and the people that we like that are like more broadly appealing and whatever. But there's people we see all the time and we're rooting for them. And if we see them on like a hot streak or whatever, it's kind of like we're gonna applaud them because we know that they're gonna be the types that we're still like friends with, connected to, and kind of get to hear about what those experiences have been. Sometimes if somebody's on like a hot streak, they'll tell us, hey, avoid that one sucks over there, that gig is a hell gig, don't do that one, right? So like we'll learn from our friends that are like really taking off quickly, and that can be really helpful advice too.
Ooh,
Casey Crawford comes up as another genius joke writer. He just released a special actually called Joke Writer. Yeah, and he's a brilliant dude. So I definitely recommend him.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say he's another guy. He'll say like 7 words and people will be laughing for 45 seconds, and I'm like, I never should have started doing this in the first place. He's very funny.
Yeah, an economist. It doesn't take.
And just talking about guys that have kind of like shot up a bit more recently, but are still like very like down to earth and cool. Fucking Sam Mangano, unbelievably funny kid. He's starting to get like a lot better, bigger shows, and he's still like the coolest dude in the world with
and
the worst
works his
mustache.
ass off, right? Like there's
constantly.
They're both funny, naturally good at this, and they have the work ethic, right? So they're every single night they're driving and they're doing their thing, going and killing.
He's all over the map, like doing shows and mics all over the place. It's like, and he consistently gets funnier, and he's like so willing to like be silly, and if that fucks up and goes way awry, he's okay with it. He like still builds off of stuff. He's he's very, very funny guy, very hardworking guy.
Yeah, a couple other names that come up: Tim Champa, Tookie Kavanaugh, a couple of.
Tookie's so funny.
Just funny, smart. Like I like to do dumb stuff on stage, but I like people that can do smart stuff. I might maybe someday I'll do smart stuff on stage, but I'm not there yet. I like being a bonehead right now.
Anytime I feel like I've tried to say something on stage, I'm like, you're an idiot, and like it just comes out. Like how stupid I actually am just comes way out. Speaking of smart comics, though, Janet McNamara, a hilarious Boston comic, a certified public accountant, much smarter than all three of us, and still unbelievably funny.
Putting out a ton of content right now too on the internet. A lot of clips.
Yeah.
You can really get a feel for who she is from that material that she's putting up, and I think it's helping her get to a broader audience, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll stop there.
Yeah, I think I mentioned him last time, and he's definitely not a person that's like on the come up. He's a person I want on stage way more often. Funniest person in the country, Alex Williams. Hilarious comedian, unbelievably funny person. Unbelievably scared to be on stage at times, but a very, very funny comic.
Performed at the first high school dropout show. Had an unbelievable set. Alex Williams crushed his set. So you'll start to see clips. You'll see clips come out on the high school dropout Instagram page maybe a little bit of Laugh Addict promotion as well on the Laugh Addict page. But you'll start to see the material start to come out from all of those folks, including Alex and others. And I'll do clips of them leading up to dropping the entire thing on YouTube a little ways down the road. Maybe around the time that the next show happens, we'll drop the full thing on YouTube. So folks can look out for that. And all the stuff that we're talking about and these people that had great sets at the high school dropout. We're going to get to this comment in a minute. We're going to get to this comment in a minute.
Thank you.
but for sure, yeah, people can check that out as it comes out and start to get a feel for what the show is like and the level of talent that was on it. Because that was the other thing. We hand selected people like Andrew and like Alex and so many others and like Josh Day, and they wrote their asses off, something special and unique that they wouldn't be doing anywhere else. That's another huge value add of going to the show. Even if they're people you like and you've seen 1,000 times, you're not going to see them do this material because they're writing it specifically for this.
Totally different, completely specific for what's happening. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier too. But like, you put together a show of like, we're all vastly different comics that were on that show, and it worked. It all works so well together. It was a very fun night.
It was a cool night. Yeah, so let's get to Aves Hussein, who's just shouted out in the comments. So this is somebody that we wanted to make sure was mentioned. This is, I guess, Kevin in the comments knows Aves. We know Aves. He comes almost every week to the Laugh Attic. When he gets booked a lot of shows, he shows up a lot. He's a networker. He's a guy that makes his rounds. That's how people like Kevin.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He really is
everywhere. It's weird. I see him in so many pictures.
I'll say this: if the audience understands who he is as a person, he will have a good night. He'll have a good set. If the audience does not understand who he is as a person, it might be tougher. It might be an uphill battle.
Yeah, and I'll have a great time during his set. And that's fun.
That's the other thing, Cody. We like watching our friends eat shit. That's kind of a fun pastime.
It's almost as fun to watch them succeed and fail. They're almost the same thing for me. I don't. Exactly. He has the worst laugh in the entire world.
Yeah, sometimes
he has two of the worst laughs in the entire world.
He has two different laughs. They're both horrible. I might have to send him in the back room sometimes just to get him out of the main room where he's impacting everybody's night.
So I know you had mentioned that you had a headliner that was coming up that you couldn't announce yet.
Not yet.
Is there any like notable acts or shows you want to mention that are coming up for like Laugh Attic or just anything with you guys in general that we didn't talk about yet?
Yeah. Oh, see, Kevin understands. Kevin's comment just kind of reflected exactly what we were talking about. So yeah, there was a couple of dates that I realized when you were shouting out. I realized like, oh shit, he's going all the way into February. Let me get a couple of these other ones out there. Friday, February 21st, I'm at Bow Market in Somerville. That's a really fun spot for shows. So definitely, if you're in the Somerville area on Friday, February 21st, check out Bow Market. It'll be a great lineup. And then Wednesday, February 26th, Charlie's Tap House in Hampton. So a couple of young men over there that are putting together a lot of shows on Hampton Beach. And I'm excited to kind of just get over there and see what the audience is like. So that'll be Charlie's Tap House, Wednesday, February 26th.
They're Hampton-y. All right, you're gonna know where they came from.
I mean, that's a fun show. Long ago, how different could it be? Right?
No, it's the same people, just a different color white, different color off white. They're all very dirty people.
But Andrew and I both. If somebody's watching this from Western New Hampshire, you can catch both of us January 29th. That's a Wednesday. At Sawtooth Kitchen in Hanover. So definitely
that's a really cool room.
That really cool room. It's what we like to call rooms like that a kill box. It has a really low ceiling. It's very intimate. So everything is like right there. Nobody can miss a word you say, which is kind of crucial as you can imagine.
It's nice. Everyone's directly in front of you.
Thinking about having to do what you guys do, man. It really is like
you got to come out and see it.
Whole other shit, dude. Like.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide. That's for sure. There's nowhere to hide. That's a big difference.
No,
I could when I was on stage. When I was on stage with my more talented musical friends, I would Sid Vicious myself and turn myself down. But you don't have to. You don't have to do that, or you don't have an opportunity to do that with comedy. So Yeah, you're on your
Yeah,
own, man.
exactly.
I definitely recommend, Cody. If you get, I know you're a busy man too, but if there is a Thursday night that you pop out, you could see it in action and see what it's like. And it's the crowds have been crazy lately. There's more people to see the show than there are comics, which is unheard of at
Yeah.
most open mics. But that's been kind of a pattern for us for the past several Thursdays, going back a couple months. So it's been really, really good.
A while.
Yeah, it's been a nice little hot streak.
Yeah, it's been very special in there lately, and it should be. It's like I talk that place up a ton, but it is like a very special room when it's rocking. It's insanely good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny.
Everybody
I
kind of
believe
coasts
it,
off.
dude.
What's that?
I said I believe it. Like
Yeah.
that's why I was so interested in kind of like hearing about it from you guys, because I feel like it very much parallels the way Shaskin kind of did that for like hip hop artists, because they've had the rap night residency every Sunday for the last like 11 years now. So
That's
people
cool.
really got to go in, kind of hone their shit and like really sharpen their swords a bit. And so I feel like it always sounded like the Laugh Attic was really becoming that for comedians. So it's
would you
really
categorize that Sunday night thing as a rap open mic?
I always refer to it as a residency, because it's not like a traditional open mic. They do it's like an open cipher. So they play an instrumental and anybody can get up and like rap over it. So it's like
That's
you
cool.
can't just be like, oh, this is my song, like I want you to play this. It's
You're
like
right.
you got to adapt to
That's
whatever
cool.
the room is like deciding to do at that time.
Yeah,
So it's cool because people will bring writtens, but then they have to still match them to like the beat that's playing.
You still got to catch the beat.
Yeah.
You still got to spit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's neat to be able to find something in a song though that you might not have known was there. Like if it's just lyrics that you have written, like you might have an idea of a melody in your head, but to have someone kind of force your hand, that's kind of neat to be able to learn about yourself and the song like that. I like that.
And it's like, I know for me, it's like, even now, like having done tours and having like played big shows and shit, every time I do a run of shows, at least I would say 2 or 3 times a year, I usually end up going to the Shaskin and doing a set on a Sunday night and just like bringing a bunch of old and new songs and like trying shit out that's going to come up for an album. And like, it's just a great spot to like really work shit out and like figure out what people are going to like and don't like. And there seems like there's so many parallels in what you guys have going on too.
The Attic will tell
sure.
me if something's going to work on a Saturday, Friday show or whatever. It's if I'm hosting the show and I'll start out with a little bit of my material up top, I can take a lot of swings, see what works, and then use it as an opportunity to remind people in the audience, hey, by the way, this is an open mic. You're supposed to do what I just did. If 2 out of 4 of those didn't work, then that's the way it goes. But that's what people are here to do. So even to put myself out there and to say this is what it's supposed to be, and that doesn't mean 100% hit rate.
No, you end up getting a pretty honest, like if you're honest with the audience, you get a very honest response back from them.
Authenticity
is super helpful to know that a joke isn't gonna work. Like that is just as helpful as knowing it does work. Like if you keep repeating it at that mic in particular too, where you have like a real audience, there's more audience than comics. You're getting an actual, like it's not just your friends laughing at something that isn't funny. You're getting like a real response from it. It's super helpful.
For people that don't have like the live in-person experience of experiencing stand-up comedy, what would you guys say is like a common misconception of what people would expect?
Oh shit. I'll start with don't expect to just say whatever the fuck you want from your seat. Like, I think people watch the internet and they watch Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever, and they hear the person has cut the one time somebody spoke up at their show and it became gold.
Yeah.
Out of 60 other times where somebody spoke up and it was awkward, it sucked. The guy was a piece of shit. They had to be escorted out. There's a variety of things that could happen, but I think the expectation is like, oh, if I say something, I'm gonna get something so funny right back, and that's not.
Yeah,
that's not
I'm part of the show now.
Yeah, let them do their thing. If they need you, they will beckon you. They'll say, hey,
Yes.
you look like an idiot. Why don't you answer this question for me? And something like that is a much better cue for you to actually respond than just thinking that you're a part of it without that. We don't need you to do anything other than sit there and give us a laugh if you like it.
Yeah. No, I really like the way you put it. Like, don't speak until you're spoken to. Like, I'll come to you if I need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people, some with an open mic, you can get walk through traffic. You can get people that just come up from the bar and they're half in the bag and they're just like seeing what's up and they don't give a shit about whether this thing lives or dies. And so that means they treat it with a little bit less respect. And so we will treat them with a little bit less respect, reciprocally, right? So
a lot
that's
less.
kind of, and that usually polices itself. And those people are not long for the room. I have a clip somewhere in my Instagram where it's like, I like everybody in this room because all of you look like you didn't peak in high school, so you're just like me. And then it was like, hey, there's 3 guys back there that just left. They fucking loved high school, bro. Like to just put them on blast, like you have to other them because they just don't fit into that space and time. And that's again, if we're trying to encourage people to go out, it's a vibe together. You kind of have this communal experience with this group of people. When it's good, it's fucking great.
Yeah. Well, and that can be like, that's just as good of a communal experience to be like, we all hate you, motherfucker. And now, exactly. Like, fortunately, I have the microphone. I can say what we're all thinking about you. And that's a great feeling. But like between me and an audience, to be like, yeah, we all agree that you're not one of us. And that's a fun feeling. Yeah. That's another thing that makes it. Oh, go on.
No, I was just gonna say it has to be raw and real, and that reaction should be visceral. It should cut to the core of them, just like they cut to the core of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You have to give them back as much as like they're taking from you in that moment.
Yeah,
and it's like, motherfucker, if I was having fun and now you've just ruined it, like I have to. I'm obligated to ruin like at least the next like couple of minutes of your night. It's a fun place to do it.
It makes sense in such a vulnerable performative space. If someone's gonna fucking intrude so rudely, it's like you might as well fuck up their night and make their sleep a little uncomfortable.
I have another clip on the Instagram where an older woman speaks up. We were talking about musical artists, and she just says, "Wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of that one." And then a couple minutes go by, I'm still doing the bit, and then she just goes, "Aerosmith," and I'm like, "What?" I don't even know. At that point, I don't even know what she's talking about. She's still thinking about a couple minutes ago. So the whole clip plays out in such a way where at the end I'm talking about dementia, and I'm just like, you'll be there soon, and like bring her back into the conversation at the point where she least expects it. And it's just a chance to remind people like, you're not, this isn't about you.
No, it can be though, and then you're going to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah, if you put it out there.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I filmed more stuff to get moments like that.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I mean, dude. Is like,
Andrew has great shit like that
look
too.
You guys up, it's like there's not a lot of stuff out there. You know what I mean? It's like I'm lucky that I'm friends with you guys on Instagram, but that was what got me thinking about the whole shit with like having a booking reel or something like that earlier, like how to get shows.
Yeah. I mean, there are lots of places that'll have you like sign up to do their show and submit your clip and whatever. Festivals will do that, but also like some individual shows that they run. Let's say they run every week. They probably need as much help as they can get booking it because you're kind of trying to find new talent all the time. So then they'll resort to like forms and signups, and in that form, they'll have like a link to put like a YouTube clip or whatever. And you just have to make sure that shit's your best work, right? Like you can't be half-assed, and you have to be as critical of an eye as they eventually will be. Make sure you're putting up shit that actually is worth putting up.
Like you can't send a clip out of a guy that you wouldn't book yourself. Like you have to be like very, very, very aware of yourself, but like trying to not be like too much in that like whole world of hating yourself too. So that becomes very easy too. Like you can watch a clip and hear people laughing and then just not believe it after a while. You have to be like, ultimately critical of yourself, but like not be overly critical, but like not shit on yourself just for the sake of it.
In balance, yeah.
That can be hard. Yeah, that can be hard.
Is there any comedians that you guys are excited to go see this year as fans?
I'm seeing Jordan Jensen next month, and
That's
I
Oh,
saw
you're
her.
so lucky.
Yeah, I saw. I think it's at the Wilbur. I think it's at the Wilbur. And I last time I saw her, she was actually at this new arena opening for Tom Segura. So Segura will his lineups will be kind of secret, and all of a sudden they'll announce like the support acts, and that's more exciting than you're happy to see him and whatever. And
Yeah.
That's somebody that a lot of us, a lot of guys have looked up to. A lot of people, comics have looked up to or whatever. Just because they've made millions now doing this, which is it's insane from a business perspective. That shit's insane.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, somebody like that will just put on somebody that they know is up next, and I think Andrew and I can say pretty certainly that she's one of those people. I'm really looking forward to
so
that.
funny.
That's like
Yeah.
February
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I think I don't have tickets for anything like at the moment. Like the first person that popped in my head though when you mentioned Segura is Jeff Tate. I saw him open for Segura a couple of years ago. I've been dying to see him headline ever since then. Maybe I'll track him down this year at some point. We'll see him.
That's what's up.
Jordan's a good get though. She's blowing up too.
Yeah,
so good.
That's gonna be such a fun fucking show.
Can't wait. And the other cool thing about that, if it's in Boston, I know that the host or the support act or whatever will be somebody I'm familiar with too, and then I get to be excited for them getting to do their thing up there too.
Yeah,
I love that. That's so gnarly.
Cool. Yep.
What? And I know this is tough because we've covered so much ground, but I guess for the uninitiated and the seasoned alike, what kind of like lasting words would you impart on people to like take in all the shit that you guys are doing with this New England comedy scene?
I've got mine. You're never too good for an open mic, and that goes for audience and comics alike. Nobody, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're just there to see something funny or you're a performer and let's say you've been doing it for a really long time, doesn't make you better than an open mic. An open mic is that raw chance to try the new shit out, do your thing in like a space that kind of condones it. And what better place to do it than this venue? Like we said, it's like this perfect vibe, intimate, best of the like really highly talented people that are coming every week. That's a good place to test your metal. If you've been doing it for a while, come through, show us your stuff. If I'm impressed with you showing up, I'll make a big deal out of it. I'll put you a special part in the lineup or whatever. So if you're a comic that's been doing it for a while and you're watching this, pop out, show us what you got. And that's not in like a prove me wrong kind of way. That's in a I'm excited for you to come out and do your best shit kind of way.
Yeah. It's always wicked cool when you see names that you don't always see like in the list there. It's like that's always a really cool feeling. To kind of flip it the other way, like if you're an audience, like give local comedy a chance. Like it can be a thing. It can be a really easy thing to go, that's not going to be good, and just not go to it. But like especially around here, we have a lot of very talented people. So if you do see flyers up for a show, go check it out. You're probably going to have fun.
It's probably going to be cheap, and the value that you get is huge.
Yeah, it'll be cheap to free. It'll be at a place that doesn't serve expensive drinks. It'll be local. It'll be something like go and see local comedy. It'll give you a good night. If not, then blame Danny. That's not my fault.
Yeah, that's my cross to bear every week.
Every show is Danny's fault if it's not good.
The stress level before that show kicks off.
Oh my god, I know the feeling, dude.
Yeah, it's 30
then
comics
you're gonna babysit.
It's 30 comics a night, Cody. I'm introducing 30 people, right? Like and I'm trying to come up with something clever to say for every single one of them.
So how much time do people typically do? Like 3 to 5 minutes?
It's 3 minutes without purchase. If you support the venue and keep the show running by like actually buying stuff from the bar, that's what keeps us alive, right? We've been going strong for 7 years now, and I've been doing it for like the past year or so. Then definitely you get 5 minutes if you support the venue with a purchase, 3 minutes if you're out of money or whatever.
That's dope.
Just a dirt bag.
Because I was just thinking, my first thought was like, if I was on a show with 30 rappers, I might just let them
it sounds nuts, but like that 5 minute snippet is like, I've got a sense for this person, and then let's ride the wave and see like what the rest of the night brings. And then it ends up being like this organic entity by itself. Whoever's inside of that entity is what makes up the vibe of the night, and the order that they appear in kind of plays into that to some degree too. But yeah, I end up
And I
putting it
think
together to
people
try to be as
underestimate
much
how
like a
hard
show
it
as
is to
possible.
be funny that long.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're not funny that long, you can walk off stage before 5 minutes elapses. Some people forget that, and they'll just stand there. Hey,
Yeah.
oh, hey, what next? What else? What else? And it's like, no, dude, just walk
waiting,
off. Yeah,
just
better
waiting
luck
for
than
the
You're not
light.
practicing crowd work. Just go get a drink.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go take it easy.
Uh,
Tonight wasn't your night.
That's the one
Oh
thing
my
I like.
God.
I really loved about that kid Jalen, who like just recently started.
Yeah.
He's been doing great. He was having one set that wasn't going very well, and he just stopped at like 3.5 minutes. It was like, all right, whatever, I'm done. And it's like, yeah,
Whenever
dude,
somebody
that
does
like, yeah,
that,
that's fine.
if they do that, I'll step up after and remind people. See how he did that? That was great. And like,
Yeah,
I'll frame it positively. See, he knew what time it
yeah. You're
was. He
not
knew where it was
running.
gonna go.
You're not running away. You're like it's not. It might not get better right now. Like, let's not make this a worse feeling. Let's try it again next week. And yeah,
That's all
and
I
that kid keeps getting funnier.
got.
Oh, dude, that was fucking awesome. I feel like I could ask you guys a million questions about comedy, but we'd fucking be here all night and just talking about people from YouTube. So, man, thank you guys so much for fucking joining me tonight. If you guys are watching this, please make sure you guys check out all the links that are scrolling by. Follow them on Instagram and keep up with them for dates. You guys want to shout out any dates one more time before we fucking rock it out of here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, January 25th, Grafton, Mass. That's next Saturday. I'm hosting a Post Office Pub. That's around, I think it's like 7 p.m. start. The Wednesday after that, you can catch me and Andrew in Hanover, New Hampshire at Sawtooth Kitchen at 8 p.m. And Mike DuPont, who we mentioned in this podcast, also on that show. So that's great. Andrew's up February 26th at Bards on the Rocks at Hopknot in Manchester. It's a great little spot in downtown Manchester where you can see a lot of talented people, poets and comics and rappers. Saw Sean Caliber
The
there.
musicians, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
where I met Cody.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of like artists that are blending together in that space, which is great. Shout out to them.
In a really cool way. That guy Jeremiah is doing a really great job over there. Him and Kid have a fun show.
He'll be here next week, actually.
Fantastic.
So
That's great.
That's a good guess. He's a wild man.
A lot of energy.
Just a bit.
When's the next high school dropout? Is that already on the calendar?
Yeah. High school dropout is going to be March 7th at 8 p.m. and that's at Strange Brew Tavern upstairs. So that's going to be that's a Friday, March 7th. So definitely mark that down. The show after that at Strange Brew will be March 28th. These will be on Eventbrite at the beginning of February. So you can check those out for buying tickets. Friday, February 21st, I'm at Bow Market in Somerville. That's at 8 p.m. Wednesday, February 26th, Charlie's Tap House in Hampton, about 7 p.m. So that's a couple of others I had.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. I think Danny spoke for me mostly. Follow me on Instagram. I'll have more dates coming up. I'll put them up there.
Yeah, and check us both out at Laugh Attic every Thursday, 9 p.m. It's free to attend. You can just come watch and have a great night and just have a chill, like very funny, hilarious night where you're just enjoying yourself. You don't even have to think. They just entertain you and you just get to take it all in, have a nice drink, have a meal. Nothing beats it.
Yeah. You'll have a fun time no matter what. You'll see a good show.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Oh, I got to share this before you guys go. This just popped up.
There you go.
Kevin said, you guys inspired me to try the stand-up thing again. I did a few open mics last year. I might try and get back into it.
We'll see you out there.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Come by on Thursday. Try it out.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Kevin, I'll roll with you to Laugh at it. Give me the word, man. Shoot me a text. I'll pull up with you. I'll be there to support. Dude, seriously can't thank you guys enough for making time to sit here and chop it up with me tonight. We'll definitely have to do a part 2 sometime in the next couple months after some of these big events have happened and talk shit about more comedians. And thank you guys so much. Guys. And
thank you so much for having me again.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, dude. Make sure you guys follow these guys, and yeah, we'll catch you guys soon. I'll probably see you guys on a Thursday sooner than not.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Look
All
forward
right.
to it. Thanks, man.
Cheers. Yo, thank you guys for tuning in. Huge thank you to my guests tonight, Danny P and Andrew Mcguinness. This has been such a funny chat. It was really cool to be able to ask them about like the inner workings of the comedy scene and some of the stuff that they've been putting a lot of time and energy into. So make sure you guys are following them right there at the links below. Thank you guys for sticking it through the technical difficulties with me. My laptop kind of just shit the bed while we were doing this, so I don't know what happened there, but we salvaged the show. So nevertheless, thank you guys so much. As always, if you want to have your event mentioned, or if you want to have a banner or anything on the show, just hit me up at codycentralshow@gmail.com and we will make it happen. And yeah, other than that, we got a bunch of great episodes coming up. We got Jeremiah Watkins from Bards on the Rocks next week, and we've got a whole crazy next 2 months after that. So yeah, so it's going to be awesome, and appreciate everybody rocking with me tonight, and we will see you all very soon. Much love. Please listen to Giant Steps in Gate City, available on all streaming platforms now. Also available on CD right now as well. We still have a few copies. And I'm also excited to let you guys know Giant Steps in Gate City is going to be available at Bull Moose locations in the next couple weeks. So you'll be able to cop it from Bull Moose as well as hellhoundpublishing.com. So once again, thank you guys for rocking with me tonight. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Make sure you guys go and follow my guests, and I'll see you guys next week on Monday. Preach. Cody here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Cody Central. If you'd like to support the show and help me keep this thing afloat, please check out some of the options below. Thank you so much for supporting, and as always, subscribe, like, and comment.